Welcome everyone to the 292nd weekly MLP Drawing School live critique stream. It's like
Woohoo.
October 10th? No, 5th. Why did I
Uh,
put 10th?
We're in.
Well, no one cared
Well, we're
anyway.
in. We're in the spooky month. That's the only thing that matters.
It is a spooktacular month. There's all sorts of David S. skeleton.
I get to start doing my spooky music on tree time. I'm good to go.
Does it have more reverb?
Just much
Boo.
cool ambient sort of music. Lots
Just
of general mumble
occasionally a
too.
ghost goes boo.
Well, we got a small horde with us today for critiquing.
Zombie joke. Horde.
Zombie? What?
Zombie
You
joke.
said we're a horde, and
Ah,
that's a zombie thing.
We're calling out all the zombie jokes today.
Yep.
all
We
of
have to be
them.
obvious about it.
All
Well,
month long. Get ready for him.
We
starting
have
at
to
the
explain when
middle,
we're doing a zombie joke.
we got Fluffy's Eye here.
Hi.
Hey, look, it's him. And then down at the bottom, we got Pixanob.
Hello. I am disappointed because nobody critiqued, and now I'm sad. But hello, I'm here.
You disappointed Pixie. Look what you've done, people.
You.
How could you?
And somewhere high above all of us, Aliclaw.
I'm just sitting here disappointed that y'all disappointed Pixie. Like, how could you hurt them? How
Yeah.
could you?
No.
Also, hi.
And that's
And we got the master of the horde, the zombie, living dead.
woo, me. Yeah.
And a silent Vex judging and watching from the background.
Yeah, we might see lines come down from them.
Yep.
Hidden away. All right.
Drawing with a mouse.
So, as always, if you have any questions, please fire them towards us. If you have any art, please feel free to fire
Don't send it to us. Don't
Okay.
send. We have too much.
All right, we've hit a hard cutoff when we hit a baker's dozen.
Yeah.
Here, I got a new deal. If you have any art you want critiqued, why don't you put it in our Discord or on the subreddit, but also go critique somebody else because that's going to be just as helpful as you getting critique.
Ooh.
We should do a week where we only critique people if they have a comment critiquing anyone else's work on the subreddit that day.
We'll
that
have
week.
no work to
If
do
you-
then.
Yeah.
I know.
Listen,
but
if people critique, they can get a critique token, and they can use their critique
Yes.
token and spend it on the critique stream.
yes.
It'll be great.
Allie?
I'll start submitting my stuff because I have a fair few critique tokens banked.
Perfect.
Brilliant.
200 pictures later. All right, and that's the page one of it. All right. Well, that is the game. We need y'all to, pitch in, learn a little from yourselves here. Do some critique. It's great. It's wonderful. You'll love it. Well,
It's helpful.
hopefully.
It's helpful
Really
to you, it's helpful to the community, and what's more important to ponies than community?
And now we have 100 billion trillion pictures, so we need to run and
Yes.
run and run. Where are we starting?
All right, we're gonna Tofu's picture because he called me out for forgetting his picture. That's what you get, buddy.
No biggie.
All right,
So the
questions.
problem with
What do you
this-
got?
So I've been trying to study the G5 poses and stuff. One way I try to do it as a challenge is like I will look at real life photos and try to make them into ponies.
Mhm.
Sounds like personal interest. Also, it's like a practice of the knowledge of the shapes itself. Just trying to make sure did I do it right. Another thing that I have to ask is the iris. I noticed that even when I do my studies, like I just can't quite get the iris looking right for G5. They always look a bit lost. I don't know why. Although sometimes I even trace over the iris they got just to study them, how they do it, but I just can't get it quite right.
Mm.
There's something in those iris that make them shine so much. But yeah,
So
that's the question.
iris position. If you want them to be looking at the camera, they need to be more into the center than out. So if you look at this eye, how much space there is here versus here, there's a little more space on the inside. It's a tiny amount of space. When it comes to the eyes, it's crazy how much it matters.
I see.
So just move it that way a little bit, because if they're looking at the camera, okay, so say that they're looking like somewhere on their like end of their muzzle or whatever. So they'll be doing this sort of thing. Eyes right in the corner, looking down, looking here. And then think of just like, pulling that back towards the camera. It'll just be like, the eyes will slowly go out now, now, now. But they won't go like, over to that side and over to that side because,
That's the end.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just make sure that the eyes are kind of leaning in towards the center.
Okay.
And that should help. I love this apple that you drew on the leg. It really offsets everything. Looks great. Good job. In terms of poses and stuff, I think it looks good. I think yeah. It's the more actiony, weird, crazy poses that you can do, great. But like positioning this hawk further down the leg and making sure that there's like a definite bit of a shoulder there because that's something that they do in G5 pretty heavily. I think most of it looks pretty good.
Have we
Okay.
talked about the hair yet?
Oh yeah, the hair, dude. Cause the guy's like in the photo, it's like a old U.S. general. The guy got like the Randall's like military haircut, which is I know is hard to translate into ponies because ponies have exaggerated hair, so them looks really funny and cute, right? So it's
Yeah.
hard to get this like really serious looking dude's military haircut into the pony world. Make it kind of make sense. That's why it looks kind of weird right now. But yeah.
No ordinary boring haircuts allowed in Equestria. They have to be extreme even when you're in the military.
I mean, even if you want to keep like a serious military haircut, you can look towards so many cartoons that have cartoonified serious subjects or simple haircuts. Like, just because it's serious and simple in the actual photograph doesn't mean it isn't possible for it to be cartoonized. It just might look a little more cartoony and less serious because, well, you're drawing a pastel horse. So
part of it turning into pony is being exaggerated and
exactly.
I
is
see.
being just pushed for effect and all that kind of sort of stuff. So don't be afraid. Just go. Here's the cool thing is that you can go like way out there and go crazy, and the consequence for that. The consequence will be I'll have to spend another minute, 2 minutes drawing the hair again.
Yeah.
Go
Favorite
wild.
advice.
Go
Go
wild.
too far.
Go too crazy and then pull it back
I
because
see.
yeah.
So yeah, so that's the picture from the voice chat. But I think I get what you're saying. I can make it a bit more exaggeration from that haircut.
And also, I'd take a look at that picture. I think you're misunderstanding how the hairline kind of goes. That's not going forward. That's being brushed backwards. So really consider where the hair is on the head, where it is on the scalp.
Yeah, I did notice about. I have a hard time translating that. That's the problem. I think that's why it looks brushed forward in mine. That's like a middle part that's like brush forward, and the rest of them is just brush back. I kind of like I'm having a bit of a trouble translating that like brush back thing because
Let's see.
because in the human world you have this sideburn thing going on, a bit of like the sideburn. You can see his hair going back, but in pony you have like these big ears, right? You can't see it. That's why it looks hard. It's hard to translate. That's the problem.
Well, you can just do the best you can and like something. Well, you can also put sideburns on the head, like Vex is saying. But if you don't want that look, like something you can sort of do is treat the head like a helmet, like the hair, and kind of sketch out, okay, the hair is about this area. He has a really high, like, since he's losing his hair, it's gonna come back a lot.
Yeah.
So the ears are here. Boop, boop, boop. And this is like a really ugly sketch, but I'm just trying to figure out stuff.
No,
So
fine.
even if the hair is the ears are gonna be where the hair is, you can still have the hair be in front of the ears. So if I were to sketch out a silhouette of this haircut, like a helmet, it'd sit about on his head like this. And instead of making the hair come forward like that, you can just start from there and go back, and kind of build up on it. And it might look a little weird at first. Like I said, this is just like you're figuring the hair out, the style out. And it seems like, okay, as long as I keep pushing the hairs back and around, we're gonna get some sort of a balding man appeal / look. And even towards the front, you can I don't have my tools on here. How I would fade out the front. Like you could fade out the front then, because it's thinner hairs towards the front. Even have like.
Is that an eraser you use, like a shape eraser? You get that edge feeling of the hair.
Yeah, like right now I'm just
Okay,
taking
cool.
a hard eraser because that's what I have, and you can kind of go through it. And if the full thing needs to be line arted, you can go back in and kind of give it that line art that you need. Just being selective about where you pop in and out. Like now, if I take this whole thing.
That's a really cool trick. I really like that. The using a shape eraser, go back and erase that, so you have the hairline thing going on. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff is you don't necessarily need to nail in the first sketch. That's the thing. The sketch is for figuring out and like blocking stuff. Um you just like play with it and let it build and become what it needs to be. I don't know. It's hard to talk and draw.
For building like a hair style like this, that's like specifically that you want to get a bit specific and you want to all that sort of stuff. You should probably go through like at least 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever different iterations of like trying out the hair to see what works.
Mhm.
Don't be afraid of just chucking stuff at the wall and seeing what works, because a lot of it will work, but a lot more won't work. And you need to get through those things that won't work before you get to the concepts that will look right and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
And line
Nice.
thickness is also going to play a huge part.
Yeah. Okay. That's something that I've been trying to get better at, line thickness.
One
To be
thing
honest,
to keep in mind: G5 style
eyeline, right?
tail needs to be pushed behind the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay.
They're very aggressive with sort of how much the tail gets pushed behind the body and all that sort of kind of stuff. So
I think yours is 3D model, right? I think actually that I noticed that before. Like before, it's even more exaggerated, and then I turn it back a bit. I think I need to turn it back more. I haven't quite get the tail thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing great. You're really getting a lot of
exaggerating.
concepts.
And one really important thing: watch the movie.
Yeah, see it in action.
I will watch the trailer.
Yeah, but the actual movie is there.
Yeah,
but
it's
you could
great
just watch the
references
movie.
for your drawings.
Yeah.
There's an order. Okay, I didn't watch G4. I haven't finished G4.
It's fine.
Order.
Fine. It's fine.
Bruh.
Watch that also. Do both.
If you've seen season 3, then you're fine.
I will watch once I got more time. Once uni is over, at least. Right now, I'm just a bit too busy right now, to be honest. That's the problem.
That's
fair
fair.
enough.
That's fair.
Look at this amazing hair that Ali's drawing. What the heck?
Yeah. Please don't erase that, Ali. I
Although-
actually want to say that for my reference to remind myself to erase the hairline a bit. That's actually really, really cool stuff that you did. I want to make sure I
Yeah,
That's 'cause
it's all
Ali's a
about
good
play.
artist. Yeah.
You're a nice person.
Okay.
Yeah, it's also like you can even make decisions where you don't want the line art to be fully connected in the front here, and just while you're coloring it, maybe you'll just like do a selection layer and crop out that area and maybe do like a little fiddly bits there. But yeah, just don't be afraid to play. Don't be afraid to go too far, and don't feel like if you're doing line art, it has to be line art. There's times when yes, you can do that, especially if it's for a stylized reason. But if you're trying to get a specific texture, there's that. Hold on, I'll post something in the Discord. I'll ping you. But there's a really great little sheet that explains just like line dynamics and what you can do to utilize to get different textures, weights, and feels. I'll throw. I probably threw it in there before. I'll throw it again. Good measure, but yeah.
that'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
Heck yeah.
All right. Shall we roll on to our next horsey?
Yes.
Let's do.
Awesome. And Tofu, don't forget, critique someone today.
Yeah.
But
Sure,
if they
yeah.
ask for it, don't just like walk down the street and be like, no.
Your haircut sucks, you nerd. Yeah, not the best thing to do.
And then you
I see.
dab.
And then you dab. Dab.
All right. Speaking of dabbing, how about this next picture? This one is by, I believe, Spitfire. Yes, Spitfire.
Yep.
Supermarine. They asked something. Pinged me. Where is it? There it is. Oh, they didn't ask a question. Never mind. All right, let's critique it. Sorry.
Yep. Is a nice quick drawing, is all I said.
So hey, you usually write pretty long diatribes about your art, and it gives us great insight into what you are doing. But they often don't have questions for what you're seeking. So, what sort of issues are you having for the next picture you submit? Include that with it if you could. Very helpful. You'll get more critique on the subreddit.
Oh my god.
Or even the Discord, because I know you're in there.
Yeah. So at the moment, I'm messing with the hair, and what I'm doing is I'm focusing on the large shapes in terms of like big shape design and all that kind of sort of stuff. Like let me erase. Oh, so your hair right now has this kind of a shape, and then this kind of a shape, which works. I can see who it is, but it's not super obvious. If you look at the show and the movie and the sorts of hair shape, what it does is it does something a lot more like this. There's like this big overall sort of like almost like Whoville kind of like weird thing, but you've got like this sort of thing, and it creates this like silhouette that is very much her, kind of sort of thing. And it works even better if you like do it properly with references and don't just guess like I'm doing. You can actually get the shape looking right and good. But yeah, focus on the big shapes, because getting those right is going to make your characters so much more readable. Like, for example, you've got Izzy over here. Izzy, best horse, etc. What we've got right now is we've got this little thing, we've got this little thing, this little thing, this little thing, we've got this little thing, this. All of these elements are similar kinds of sizes. And the issue with that is that none of them particularly stand out, and it makes the overall shape, just a bit blobby and not really that recognizable. So what we can do is this far side of her hair, what it tends to do, from what I've seen, is it tends to go into something like this bit of like a little curly thing, little curly curl. And you can use that as sort of the overall shape, and then add, whatever little twists and folds and, ripples and stuff you want on top of that. And then this close bit of hair, what it tends to do from what I've seen, is something a lot more like this, like ripply sort of big, long sort of thing like this. And doing that kind of like focusing on those really big shapes pretty much just means that you get, it just makes it a lot more readable straight up. So you have to do less explaining for the person who's watching, person who's reading. Pixie's noisy tablet. I'm sorry that my tablet is annoying and noisy. What the hell?
Extra ASMR, bonus.
Yeah, brilliant. Embracing the messy aspects of sketching. Hell yeah. I saw this and I was like, oh, this is sketchy. I love it. This is messy. I love it. It's the best. It's a really good job there.
Oh, Supermarine Spitfire's in the chat, so if we have any questions for them or The Discord chat, I should specify.
Yeah.
Specify.
Does that mean
Is that
you're
to
going to
make things
spend
I
all?
ate my own word.
Does that mean
Gonna
you're
mix-
going to spend all of Inktober doing sketchy messy? Because that seems like a fun challenge.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Means we're gonna make it special every time. Make it special every time.
Make it special every time.
I assume they're like watching the stream, so that's why the responses would be any bit slow. Because that's like now 30 or 40 seconds behind.
I'll just quick poke him.
Pretty poke.
How could you let the stream get so slow, LD? What the hell? We've been scammed.
Yep, it's the time warp. So let's do the time warp.
I've
again.
heard that we should do that again.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
It's really fun to think about Izzy's hair because she has that like in a lot of promotion art, it doesn't really show the jewelry along the back of her hair, so it gives a really new understanding of how her hair works because essentially it's being pulled back. Like if it was a human, essentially her hair is being pulled back right around behind her ears, but then coming over her shoulder. So it's like got like this like vase shape like
I really wanna sort of try rotating that and sort of seeing how exactly it looks from different angles and like it's so fun.
All right, so they're not in the Discord, they're not watching, they're just in the
Oh,
chat.
okay.
So if we do have questions for them or ask them
We're out of luck.
stuff now, or type it in the Discord and they can give us something. So if you all have anything you want to ask them.
Given that we have 15 pictures, I don't have anything to ask them.
Fair enough.
I did soften out the line on your cheek to eye. I noticed on quite a few of them you create this very, very sharp cheek, which makes them basically squirrels or chipmunks, like cheek filled with nuts at that time. I would soften it out. It just makes the face a little bit smoother, a little bit less, I don't know, inflated But your call. Shall we go on to our next pick?
There's like a whole bunch of, when you're doing pictures like this, it's always going to be like a balance between like the rounded edges and all that sort of stuff and the hard, pointy bits and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. It's just me rambling, but yeah, I'm happy to move on.
All right, let's roll on to our next horse. This one is by... There it is. New Phantom Dude 333. And they say, my OC.
Yellow horse.
Horse. Of course.
Of course.
Of course the horse.
All right.
Did they ask any questions?
No. Nope.
Brilliant.
So, I would highly... I'm going to push you towards what is on our wonderful sideboard, because it will help set some foundations for your art. If you look down... Here, I'll even... Shiny new Reddit window for us. Let me just pull it up. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, look at this. Let me show you where this wonderful thing is. We scroll our way down. We have this set of guides. We have beginner guides and exterior guides and tutorial. I would suggest click on both of them because they're both going to have very different sets of guides. But there's some great ones in our beginner guide, which is a lot of users that have been on our subreddit that wrote up wonderful guides that they've ended up building up from a bunch of critique they've given out. So If we go look at the basics, we got pony anatomy and undersketching and references, measuring and comparing. I would highly suggest giving these 3 a good old read over and start applying them to your art. It's going to take a bunch of times. It's not going to click to start, and it's not going to be an instant thing. You'll just have to get through these by drawing more. That means you're going to have to draw your OC doing a bunch more things. I know, this is going to be the greatest homework. So that's my suggestion. Go check out those other guides.
This drawing right here is you being excited to draw your horse in a lot of different poses, and you should draw your horse in this pose because, yeah,
Party horse.
party horse. Yeah, it's like most of the stuff that I could point out in this is the small things that probably aren't too useful to point out at this point. So just keep on drawing, keep looking at guides and looking at references, and you'll be good.
Also, if you're going to submit any art, ask some questions in your submission. It helps out anyone trying to give you critique because they're able to try and answer your questions. And that makes a conversation between you two.
Yeah.
Mm.
So draw more, get used to your medium, get more comfortable in it, and we'll see where you are next.
Hell yeah, can't wait.
Heck yeah.
All right, let's roll on to our next horse.
Poppy.
Poppy. Oh, this is the lovely person that left us such a sweet note, and no,
Yeah.
it didn't go unnoticed, but thank you. That's always nice to hear feedback.
Yeah.
So it's Sephiroth is shot 23234.
Heck yeah.
I thought it was it's hot.
Oh, it is.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense for like an internet username.
But it could also be is shot. I mean, there's 2 S's there.
Sephiroth. I hop.
Yeah. Oh.
See, they just needed pancakes instead of killing Aerith.
Yeah.
It just goes to show having your username be a bunch of words all strung together with a punctuation is difficult to read.
All right. So let's talk your horse. I believe
approve.
we remember your picture, the last one you submitted. It's not on this account because you created a new one, but I recognize the background style, and it reminds me of one that was submitted, 2 weeks ago, I think? Maybe last week? I don't know. Time blends together. Last time, your lines were definitely a lot less focused. It looks like you're getting better. There's less of the sort of, multiple strokes to do it. We still have it in some areas, but other areas like around your mane and your wings seem to have a lot less of it, so that's great. You're developing your skills there.
Yeah, you've got a lot of good stuff. Really good job on this area. Not just like the lines, but also the shading around here. It looks good.
Mm-hmm.
It might be useful to you to look at if you're looking like for this kind of a style. One of the artists that I'm reminded of when I look at this is let me get a smaller brush. Poofindi. Poofindi. They're like another artist who has a similar kind of like a vibe to your stuff, so it might be useful to sort of look at them and see what elements they have that you can sort of take inspiration from and all that kind of thing.
Sure, it's fun.
When you're doing this kind of like wing, it's useful to sort of balance it out with one down here as well. Whoosh, get like a bit of a through line through your picture and stuff like that. And the cool thing is you can show off the this up here is like the leading edge of the wing, because say that they're flying, that's what's the air is going to be hitting on first. The cool thing about this wing down here is that you can have like the leading edge be shown more. bigger leading edge and sort of have the rest of the wing sort of like curl up and around and beneath it and all that kind of sort of weird stuff.
Gives the body a lot of motion too by doing that.
Yeah,
More energy to the picture.
absolutely. Okay, let me talk about the legs a little bit.
They're all
So,
yours.
thank you. This leg is straight. The back leg is straight. This leg is straight. This leg is straight. But if we look at where they're sitting on the ground, they're not really where we'd expect them to be. You don't need to know crazy perspective or anything like that to sort of work stuff out or to whatever. But what can be really useful when you're trying to work out where your legs and all that sort of stuff should go is to think about it from like top down. So, for example, back leg, front leg, front leg. Or if you're sort of having a bit of more of an expressive pose, you might be like back leg, front leg, and then have the other front leg out here or something weird like that, and sort of deciding where they should all sit on the ground like that is good, because then you can sort of plan out where they should sit and sort of experiment a bit. Like, for example, here it's like, oh no, they don't really sort of look right. So sort of out here like a bit more like the bottom of a cube or something like that. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And so that'll just help you sort of decide where the middle point of your hoops should be. But this stuff is hard, so don't beat yourself up. It takes a while to sort of get it looking right and all that kind of sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
All right. Shall we roll on to our next horse?
I have one more thing to
Oh.
add. I was playing with your eyes a little bit. Just be careful of your eye placement. This one kind of got away from the facial structure. So just remember when you're drawing a face, you get your circle, and then of course you can draw your guidelines. Blue loop, blue loop. And then with these types of guidelines, this is a much more extreme angle than you have drawn. I'm just doing it quick because we have to move ahead. But using this, we can kind of determine how far away each eye should be from the center line. And that way we get our eyes a little more in place, a little more at home with the nose. And, everyone's happy then. Your eyes aren't running away off your face towards the ear. You want to keep them nice and centered. So that way we can also make eye contact with them in a way that'll make us happy. Look at all cute looking back. Adorable.
Look at like poses from like cats and stuff like that, because then you won't need to worry too much about positioning of this or how the wing should go or whatever, because then you can just like copy what the reference picture does.
Yeah.
And it'll be good.
Cats are a great reference. Dogs too. A lot of quadrupeds
Mm.
can be really good references for horses since they're so cartoony. At least these ponies.
Yeah.
Filled with derps.
Yep. Next picture. Let's go.
Woo.
Thank you for submitting stuff. Critique other people. Let's go.
Good luck. Critique.
All right. Our next one is drawing of one of my favorite ponies, Sunburst. Very proud of how it came out by Cray the Finn.
Grid horse Sunburst. Let's go.
Made this little drawing in my notebook in my free time. I'm very happy of how it came out. First time drawing correct shading too. I'm very happy to have it come out so far. I used to be very bad at art, but now I'm drawing a lot better now. If you're wondering about the censoring thing, it was a random number equation. Okay. I mean, it's Sunburst. It would just fit in right there.
Yeah, it's confidential intellectual property. They would have gotten sued if we saw that. Would have broken their NDA.
Fair.
Yeah. Horse. Good job.
This is definitely
looks good.
A lot like actual horse profile going on here. with the way you've built up your belly and the back, the muscling on the leg and the thin neck. Yeah, definitely feeling actual horse as the background. It's an interesting blend into MLP.
So this kind of line, this one with for the belly, it's good for showing off the form, but the thing is having it so dark, it kind of it means that when people look at it, they think, oh, okay, there can't be like a soft connection between like this part of the neck and this part of the back, or this part of like the belly and that kind of stuff. Which for a pony, it should definitely tend to be a little bit softer there. So what you can do, you can draw that for working out your anatomy and all that kind of sort of stuff, but then come back in and just erase little bits of it here and there. Make it a bit thinner, and what that'll do, making it a bit thinner instead of just outright erasing it entirely, means that you will keep that structure there, and people will still be able to see that structure, but they'll also be able to see sort of how soft it is, and sort of nice smooth connections between there and there. Also, good job with this line here. It's hard to do. What I would say is you can make it a little bit sort of more. You could probably reinforce it by having it kick in a little tiny bit more at the end there, and then with this shoulder, instead of having the shoulder sort of right in line with the neck, because the shoulders are like going to be something like that, and the neck is going to be something like that. The neck is like more in the center, and the shoulders are kind of the extremes. So you have the neck, like the light blue person amazing has drawn here, and then you have the shoulders sort of kick out. Yeah, something kind of sort of roughly like along these lines. And what that does is that pretty much just reinforces the twist of the whole neck and body and all that kind of sort of stuff. With this area as well, the thigh kind of like region-y sort of thing, what you can do that's really cool there, instead of having this hard separation for the thigh versus the belly, what can be really cool is doing something a bit more like this, having the sort of thigh area sort of kick in a little bit more, and then you have just a little bit of like a this shape, and then you have the sort of belly sort of come in like that under there sort of thing. You can even go a little bit further with it and just do something along these lines, and that can look really cool. And then you have like the cutie mark, whatever, sort of a bit bigger, all there because it's like closer to the camera and that sort of thing. But no, it looks good. Good horse. Good drawing. Also, as Vex said, best stallion hours. Yep.
Right, let's move on to our next hours.
Heck yeah. Good drawing.
All right,
Ooh.
this one is by Suborgan.
Hello,
Don't get
Suborgan.
angry.
Just have to find the post.
It looks like Angry Trixie.
I did some foreshortening. Foreshortening earlier. Nice to feel the progress, but I feel like my art did not look, or my art looks not bad until I add some colors.
I really like the sort of grayscale rendering on the face. It's like really good.
I like the teeth. They
Yeah.
show very nicely.
I think the eyes popped like just enough. Does that make sense?
Good job. on keeping the detail where you want people to see and where you want people to
Mhm.
look. It's good. Whether it was intentional or not, looks good, and it helps reinforce sort of your art.
I'd be interested if you're feeling that when you color it, it suddenly becomes less. You want to show us one of those examples for your next submission? Because I'd be interested, or even with your next submission, unrelated to that picture. But I mean, like one of those examples of what you mean by when you add the color to it. Because I can like if you end up not having the muted image or the muted things, I mean, just mute the entire color palette. Go for a lightly colored like grayscale sort of thing. Still, you'll still have those nice colors to bleed through, but it'll be muted.
So what might help, in that kind of a case where you're feeling this way, is do some tests. Have two sort of sections, two sort of levers, and in this top one, you can sort of start off really dark, a little bit lighter, bit lighter, bit lighter, and then even lighter. And then down here in this other one, what you can do is you can try coming up with different colors that match or that look as dark as these. So for example, something like that. Then let's pick a different color and try to sort of go for something which matches the darkness a bit. And final one. And then when you get to the end, step back. Maybe you could even like apply a black and white filter over that, and then see if the values line up. So the value, you probably know this, but the values is a fancy art word that just means how light or dark something is. So if you feel like your art is falling apart or, whatever, when you add color, what's probably going on is that when you add the color, your values are getting all messed up because, instead of keeping this same nice sort of, worked out value range, you might sort of do something along these lines and then, do something like this and then, something like this, something like that. And, and now if you look at these, if you compare these, the values don't match up at all. It's like, this one is way lighter than like this one is lighter than this one. And, there's a smooth gradient on this one. And this one, it's like, light, medium, dark, medium, medium-ish sort of thing. So, try some exercises to match colors with, values and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's just the advice that I have.
Shall we roll on to our next source?
Yeah. Also, Zai.
Yeah.
We're hearing a bit of backgroundy sort of stuff.
Oh. Like what kind of stuff?
Just a little bit of like
buzz, static.
Air conditioning hum or fan
Yeah,
hum or
my fan's on. Usually, Crisp is pretty good at not having that.
yeah. No, it's
That's
just
weird.
interesting. So it's all good. Just like you.
Does it hurt now? Because my thing's not lining up.
No, it's right
Now
now.
it seems fine. All right.
Silly
next-
Crisp.
Yeah.
Next horse time.
Twilight. Oh yeah.
What a cute
Wiggles.
wiggle.
What a cute twiggle.
So
Exactly.
this is
I love
by
it.
Anonymous 1221325. This is my first time posting here and my first ever Twilight/Pony. I used a ref and it helped a little. Yes!
Hell yeah.
You used a ref!
Yes. Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Best
You
thing.
succeeded.
Achievement unlocked. Used a
Okay. So just that has put you above most of the new artists that we ever see. Because most of the new
Yeah.
artists we ever see are like, oh, I can't use a reference because that's cheating. It's fine. References are great and good and 100% good job. So
The first thing that points out to me is the fact that the hair is like coming off of the head. Twilight's hair is you can think of it sort of like a mohawk in a way, where it's like it isn't like a sort of thing like that hangs down like you have here, which is more befitting of like a plushie. It sort of fits being it's almost like a mohawk where the way it sort of flops over at the back. If you look at it from the back shot, which we do have a few references, you can see that it sort of comes out in a straight line. It just like hangs down to the side. She just has it sort of flopped over to the side like this. So you don't want to have it like coming like if we look at how you've got it here, you can see that it's like coming. Oops, I can't turn off my layer and then draw. It's like coming out of these 2 points of the ear and then like looping around, but that's like not how hair works. Um, so like it's going to be coming from like a point at the back of the head. Like if we draw like a back shot real quick, like this is the back of the head, nose is there. The hair is sort of like coming out from here, from this point, right? And so it's like going down this way as well. So then that forms like the mohawk sort of bit, the floppy side bit that we get. This cute little thing, and then the rest of it is sort of going around to form sort of like top curtain. I don't know how to describe that part of
I
the hair,
like
but
the name.
it's so difficult to think about how it looks from the back, but it's something like that. We see it in the show. That again, references are good. If you find a reference of, even if it's not the angle you're drawing, references that show the character from different angles can be very helpful. Um, so yeah, just I would remove the gaps where you've got the hair, and just make sure that it comes out from the body. Like if you see what I did here, it just sort of comes out from the head and then just disappears. So like the line from the hair here, you see how it tapers away and then is joined with the line from your body. They just sort of hold hands here, these two lines, because like one's taken over by the other. Now, of course, when you finish yours, they will just be black, so you won't see this line having a transition at all. Oh yes, I love having the little side bit on the other side. It's so good. Um,
I
you
love it.
won't notice where the lines are going, but if you're like me and you draw things on different layers, the line on different layers, you'll see this happening, where like the line just sort of tapers off and combines with the line for the next body part because it's looping over the back, and we're not really going to see that overlap starkly. What you could do, if you want to, you could actually have the lines sort of cut in, so you've got like the head coming down and then the hair like cuts off, and you actually have a deliberate like overlap, but it's up to you what you want to do. I prefer to have them be a smooth transition like this, but you want to have the hair hugging around the face and not hanging and then sort of flopping over it. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. I think what I have to say is good job drawing a horse. You did a great job.
Mhm.
The other thing that is very useful to keep in mind is that if there's two areas that are basically soft, like there's a smooth connection between them, like here and here, then you don't need a line. So one example of that is right there. Another example of that is up here. So boom, yep, and then up here with the
I was going to
render
suggest you
ear.
did have that outline, it would be a different. I was just going to say it was a different overlap. You could have the two shapes joining together, like Pixie's explaining, or if you do want to have it separate, just make sure you remember which side something's on, because the leg is on our side of the body here, so the body wouldn't be taking over the leg, the other way around.
Yeah. You could, if you wanted to, you could probably also do the smooth thing over there on the note, just a little tiny bit. But other than that, good horse. You can see people doing all sorts of messing about with the hoof shapes and the shoulders and the hairs and all that sort of stuff. But good job, good horse.
It's all just suggestions, and you did good.
Yeah. We're gonna say about 100 billion things. It's fine if you just take one thing from what we say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can come back and you can look at this again and try like different things, different ideas. Like, oh, maybe I'll look at what they were doing here and see what that does if I try it.
Yeah, the
I
most
also
important thing to remember is just keep drawing horse. Like, it's gonna
Yes.
get better. This is your first one. We can't wait to see what your 100th one's gonna look like. Not that you have
Oh
to wait till
yeah,
your
it's gonna
100th
be
one to
such
come
a
back,
treat.
but it's gonna be great. Just
your
keep
job
drawing.
your job is to just keep yourself excited to keep drawing horses.
Mhm.
Don't worry. Don't give a crap about how good it is or if it looks right or whatever. Just keep on drawing stuff. That's the important thing.
We would love to see back from you, like way in the future after tons and tons of drawings, or like just on the next one, like whatever.
Yeah.
Just keep trying and experimenting.
Also, I love the little mullet. I always add the little mullet bit of stuff there. It's good.
And don't forget, have fun. Should be fun.
Have fun.
Yeah, fun. Great art. Can't wait to see more. Let's go to the next one.
Heck yeah.
All right, we're gonna go with.
Which way are we going?
Let's go just slightly to the right, and then there's down.
Boom.
Yeah, that one. So this person, I'll find them. There it is. It is Lazy Cat in Trash, and it's MLP Clothing Design. So this isn't much about the character, but rather about the clothing they wear, because I'd like to design some outfits for my OCs. Hope that's okay.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's all creativity.
Yeah.
You're doing good.
Yeah,
If-
it's not much. Oh, go for it.
If you are looking to commission other artists to draw these outfits, something like this is going to be hard for other artists to draw. If it's just for you and you wanna, that's fine. That's all good. You can do whatever the hell you want. But if you're trying to create something that you can like send to other artists or that sort of thing, it can be good to kind of have, you can have this like crazy
Mhm.
all that sort of stuff, and then have like a bit of a simplified version where you're like,
Yeah, because don't forget, you are also an artist that will be drawing this in the future. So, like, if something, a very important part of any kind of design work, and you'll see this mentioned in actual like character design stuff for like video games, movies, but repeatability is a huge aspect, because it's one thing to just make a design look interesting, but something that you will pick up from being an artist. Anyone will pick up from being an artist over a while is like having those times of creating an OC and then realizing that it's really difficult to draw them again a second or third or fourth time. So like repeatability is basically just how easy it is to just take the design and then just draw it again. Like imagine if you were a comic artist and this was your character for a comic, would you be able to draw this character 100 times? Just here's a panel, and then draw them again in the next panel, one over, and then again down there, and then again down there, and just draw them like 30 times on a page, and then there's like a whole bunch of pages. You need to be able to draw that thing from different angles in different motions. Like the outfit might need to be blowing in a wind, it might need to be sort of like folded and put on a chair, the character might be just wearing it in different ways or from different angles and shots from above. Like you have to think about how easy it would be to interpret. And this goes for anything with character design, but like outfit design as well is just very difficult to replicate something that's overcomplicated. So less is more is a very good approach to take. I think, how can I create a design that looks appealing and interesting and creates what I'm trying to create without being something that is very specific? Because that's what you want to avoid, is very specific things. You see this a lot of the time with characters where it's like, oh, they have these exact like stripes on their body that go in this specific shape and have like 10 different colors between them. And, it's like it's very hard and very time consuming to repeat that. You kind of want to stick characters to a very like limited palette, like you've done with the character here. That's like a lovely set of pinks. You've got the blue complementing for the eye. That's wonderful. This is just a simple set of colors that you can easily like replicate again. So you want that for outfits as well. You want to think about what complements the pink of the character or whatever character might be you might be designing outfits for. Think what complements them, how you can contrast both the colors and the values with the character. Although if you don't know what that means, that's fine. Don't worry about it just yet. And just creating something that you can draw over and over again and not be too stressed by it. And again, as Pixie said, commissioning other artists, they'll thank you for having a design that's easy to draw and not a nightmare.
Yeah.
And the reason why we're digging into all of this sort of stuff about, how simple it could be and all this sort of stuff is because you specifically mentioned costume design. In terms of just like
Yes.
this picture, it's interesting and cool and fun, and I like the it's a interesting kind of like
Palette?
visual. I don't know, just like visual vibes from like going from the background to the character themselves to this. Like the lining is different, the color choices are different. It's really interesting. But if you're looking to like reuse this costume in future and that sort of stuff, that's stuff to sort of think about.
And actually considering like dress up is another aspect of like outfit design specifically that like I had to learn, where it's like, oh yeah, this outfit looks cool, but also how does this character put the outfit on? If this what you've gone here is absolutely fine, but I've drawn like fantasy characters in like more humanoid characters in outfits, and where it's like if this was a cosplay, I have no idea how it's physically put on or taken off.
Need a team of 5 people to help them put this on.
Yeah, it's just like maybe I should like design it with. And I think that's something that people in like movies and video games will do as well. It's like, okay, the outfit looks nice, but let's also consider like how it actually functions as clothes as well.
Like, so this reminds me, I had a friend who was a costume designer for theatrical productions. This kind of art, this kind of drawing really brings me to think about more of a concept art. Because the main purpose here is like I'm getting a feel, I'm getting a this may sound dumb, a vibe. Like I understand it. It's more about the emotion of what you're trying to do with designing the thing rather than the practicality. So this is just kind of rolling around back to what everyone's been saying, where this is great to get an idea, the creative part of drawing that outfit and the design. And then like if it's something you want to be repeatable, or if this is just the end of the piece and you want it to look like that, awesome. But if you want it to be something you can take on and continue, then you got to start to look at the practicality of the design. So it can actually be made and reproduced. Like if it were either for my friend an IRL piece of costuming or just something your character can wear in any kind of angle, any kind of environment, any kind of repetition.
Also, don't forget to keep it up. Have fun with your art.
Hell yeah.
Enjoy it. And don't forget
It looks
to
like you're
critique
having
other
a lot of
people.
fun. Yeah,
I honestly really love
a lot
the
of fun. So keep on having fun and critique other people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you clearly know, this you look at these like shoulder bits and the hoofies and the earies and the everything. You know stuff. You know more than enough to pop into someone else's art and then leave your thoughts and maybe do a little bit of a red line over stuff. It'll help us and it'll also help you.
Right. Let's roll on to our next horse. Let's do the bottom left. Not true bottom left, but almost bottom left. Yeah, the one with the heart now.
Pony, Kieran's in the night sky, but there's no shooting stars. So I'm sad.
They don't need a wish right now.
Dang it. This is by Valuable Ad 1504. My OC, Alyssa, is a Draconequus / basically part Griffin, Minotaur, Dragon, specifically Hippogriff, not Griffin, Kieran, and ponies. Please, any critique on how it should look or any ideas help. Thank you. First of all, it should look however you want it to look.
Strong.
It's your OC. Yeah. Go off. Go off,
I
King.
As someone who also has a like Draconic Associate and has like a whole like story in mind that I want to do as a comic one day, like I love seeing other people's interpretations of different kinds of Draconicus characters, that aren't just like looking exactly like Discord. So I think I love this design you've got here.
With the wings, you've got this black outline around it, like this sort of black area here. With the black background, it's very difficult to see. So what you can do is you can have something like a thin white outline here.
I didn't even see the Kieran mane.
Yeah.
Let alone the wing outline. I thought it was just like a purple shape.
Yeah. You can basically do this sort of thing and have like almost like a sticker vibe
Yeah.
to it.
I think there's. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Something like that. And that'll just help your sort of things be a bit more readable and all that sort of stuff.
I'm trying to pick out where the griffin and the hippogriff, not griffin, are.
So I think the griffin is the cat paws, and the hippogriff is the feet.
Ah.
Okay. And the minotaur is obviously the head. Got dragon wings.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a
Kieran neck.
ponyish and Kieran, because we also got the Kieran scales and
Dragon
the pony
tail.
body, but also the face. Yep, dragon tail.
Alright.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Right, shall we
Yeah,
roll to our next
as we
horse?
said, as we said before, there's really no like yes or no when it comes to character design. It's just up to you to be creative. There's no like what should I do? It's just what you think looks nice.
Yeah, when it comes to like a character like this and like all that sort of stuff, a lot of it is going to be about, you know, trying to find the right balance for all the different elements, try and find the, you know, which vibe, what kind of like whatever works for you. Something that I would probably do is this head, cut that down a little bit, and then just have these like sticking up out of there like that.
Mm-hmm.
With this Kirani or whatever, this sort of rubber, all this rubber, you've got this like gap. So I just fill that gap in with that, you know, boom, do something like that. But yeah, it might be useful to just, you know, get a page and then just do like a page of like, you know, a physical page or like, you know, one in your drawing program. And then just do some like rough sketches of like, you know, different parts of your character, just so that you can sort of work out, you know, and experiment with sort of the balance of it and, you know, all that kind of sort of stuff.
If I may make a silly suggestion for you, for if you want to change up your Draconicus design styling, you can draw each of these characters as an individual, all facing the same sort of direction and the same pose. Then you're going to print off about 10 copies of each of those. You're going to take these copies and sort of, you know, mix them around a bit and then tear them all up into little pieces. And then you're going to pour that into a hat and start pulling them out and reassemble it off of all the mixed up pieces. And that would be a Draconicus.
Yeah, that sounds like the cleanest and simplest solution.
You are going for like the sort of chimera style. That could make sense.
There is no easier way to achieve the outcome that you would get from that than by drawing this picture 10 times. Yep.
Be great.
Keep on drawing.
All right, let's roll on to our next horse. Oh, not them. Oh, how about this Luna? This is by...
It's so cool.
By Max.
Oh my gosh, wait. Yes. Canon XD. Canon XD. You are ready. Art by me, characters are mine. This is the first post here, so I hope you all like it. Yeah, we do.
Heck yeah.
Love
Looks
it. The color is gorgeous.
Colors are gorgeous.
Amazing.
Colors are great. The muzzle has me interested. It's interesting. The shape of it reminds me of like the medieval cats kind of vibe. But it's interesting. It's strange and fun and cool. I like it. Good job.
Man, those eyes are piercing.
Yeah.
Even without a pupil.
So I don't know if it's just a me thing, but I was just fiddling with this leg here, and I don't feel like there should be such a um big curve inward, because that would almost be looking at the horse from the side view. Because the way the hawk works, it goes out behind it, so we wouldn't see it protrude so much to the side, especially when the legs are pretty firmly planted. So it would be more of like a front view. So if you just kind of like that, perhaps, perchance. And maybe you could get some sort of, if I steal the highlight color, like that. Give me my brush, please. Thank you. Thank you. And then to separate kind of the front and the back, you could have like a highlight along here,
Mm.
kind of inform the viewer.
So, great picture. Love it. It's great. It's grand. What we've got in terms of the depth is we've got the background, which is these big giant mountains. We've got the sort of this kind of like area, which is kind of like, and we've got her, and we've got her, and whatever. What would be interesting, and what could sort of help in terms of making sure that the distance and the depth is sort of respectful to like is sort of respected to like, you know, let us know really how big this character is to add some like stuff over here, like, you know, let me, you know, just some stuff to sort of show that there is, you know, distance between here and there, kind of sort of thing. And you can also have extreme foreground things. For example, you might decide that, you know, this corner isn't very important, or maybe this corner isn't very important, or whatever. And then you can have, you know, a tree or something over here, blocking out everything, and you can draw the signature back over the top. Or like, you know, maybe you can have something similar where it's like a tree, big and over here, and all that kind of sort of stuff. And what that would do is that would sort of say, okay, the treetops are like, you know, roughly kind of sort of here. Damn, she's tall. Like, damn, this character is big. Or you could, you know, adjust these to be further down, and so that she looks even bigger. Or, you know, play with sort of elements at different depths. Because at the moment it's a little bit, yeah, there's the basics there. There's, you know, the very background. There's sort of the mid-groundy sort of stuff, and then there's in the foreground. But yeah, adding some extreme foreground stuff, adding some like more detail to sort of this area to sort of show off exactly how, you know, exactly what is there and sort of that kind of sort of thing. One really cool reference for this sort of detail is looking at just like general landscape pictures, because they need to have, you know, all of these like rolling hills and mountains that sort of overlap with each other, and, you know, they're difficult and strange, and but they'll convincingly convey depth, and so it might be interesting to sort of mess around with that a bit. But yeah, good stuff. Bex mentioned that they added sparkles at the bottom.
Yeah.
Is those things, the little speckles that are showing up. They look good.
All right, shall we boot, scoot, and boogie to our next one?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Feel free to chuck us
Great
more
work.
art. I love it. Great.
All right, I think our last one is actually here.
Woohoo!
Human.
All right, this is sorry. This is by Dark Malcontent, Equestrian City, Sunset Shimmer / The Phoenix. Oh, first time posting to a Reddit, so this regard, so I was kind of nervous. So I'm told it's a good idea to get input from outside my limited social circle, and thus here I am. I'm still very much learning, but have been around 4 people I have helping me on techniques and ideas. I use my Media Bang, and I enjoy pasta. Gotta go. Okay.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Pasta.
Heck
Oh, yeah, pasta.
to the yeah. So balance is an important thing. What we've got here is we've got, character very much leaning in this sort of direction and, running and all that kind of sort of stuff. Here is where the issue is when it comes to sort of balance. Because this leg is like very intentionally still continuing on this direction, it means that they're gonna fall. They're gonna fall and be sad. So if you look at the amazing, wonderful art that's being done here, you can see that they're sort of, it's a very slight change, but it's just like, pushing the leg to be something more like this. You could even, if you want to, like sort of have it like so that just the toes are sort of touching to like, push that sort of, whole vibe. And the other cool thing about doing this sort of thing is that when you look at the line of action that runs through everything, instead of just having this, when you have this leg sort of kicking out there, you have like a more like of this like S curve, which just adds interest. It adds like visual interest. Cool job with the shoulders, like having the sort of, let me get rid of these big lines. With having like the sort of this sort of come this way and then the hips come in the other way. It's really interesting. With it, you would probably have this sort of intersection here, be like further down that direction. So let me try to mess it out a little bit. Yeah, I'd imagine seeing it like something along these lines, especially because this leg is kind of like coming across her body. So, something roughly like along these lines. You could have it like, kick back out or do whatever you want to do with it like that, or like, do whatever you want. But this twist is very interesting. So you'd probably want to like have something like that to sort of, oh my god, there's too many colors. Something like that to sort of show the twist off or whatever. Yeah. You could probably pull her head this way a little bit as well, and have her head sort of like coming in front of her body a little touch more. I'm guessing, maybe. I don't know. Especially when you've got these like action poses, it's always interesting to sort of see where and how to position things and all that kind of sort of stuff. But
Yeah. This is exactly the kind of pose to benefit from an action lane.
Ooh. Okay, so let me erase this section of stuff. What's going to be really useful and really helpful here is this belt. So you've got this sort of like interesting sort of like midline running through your drawing. Cool, awesome, mad. This is going to be super helpful. Because it's being covered up by the jacket here, it's a bit more difficult to sort of see, and it's a bit more difficult to use it as like a placeholder, and it's like a, indicate the midline and to indicate the twist of the body and that sort of stuff. So what I do, got this thing in the middle, I would have it be bigger, so it's more easily shown off, so it's more easily seen, and all that kind of sort of stuff. Like, this is definitely the middle point of the body, and it runs straight through the middle. And then with this jacket, I would have it either go behind, just straight up go behind the body, or like have it come up here a little bit more, so that we're left with this space to sort of see that explicitly there. You can see someone pushing the pose a little bit further there and all that kind of sort of stuff, and that's fine.
Humans are hard. I mean, like, I don't draw them very often. I should be getting a reference right now. If you don't have references, get multiple. Multiple references will always be your friend. Humans are generally hard. I think you took on a very nice actiony pose, and I'm always happy to see people push themselves, become like to really push those action poses, because that's where you, I think, get the most learning from anatomy in, because you're forced to really think about how this all interacts with each other. But yeah.
Especially with a pose like this. So for more static poses, having like a more refined line art, and more refined this and more refined that. When it's like a more static pose, someone just like standing there and hey, whatever, hey, I'm a thing. That's fairly fun. But when it comes to more actiony poses, leaving it a little bit less refined can sometimes help push the action of the pose, especially when it comes to like the elements that are moving a lot. So this this hair is going to be flicking around a lot. These bits of the jacket are going to be flipping around a lot. Probably also like these arms and all that sort of stuff, and the hands and stuff are going to be like, moving around a fair bit because they're going to be running. They're going to be like, you see what they're doing. That's like, yeah, exactly. So for these kind of actiony poses, maybe experiment a little bit with like a bit more of a sketchy style, or not quite refining stuff as much, and just see where it takes you. It can be fun. Good job.
All right. Well, I believe there's no more submissions, as we have filled up our canvas, and that's a pretty good time to call it. So, thank y'all for coming, and we'll see you again next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Did it.